Hey, wonderful people, welcome to Family Tales. Today's story starts with a girlfriend calmly admitting the baby isn't his, then telling him a real man would step up and raise it anyway. Instead of begging, he packed her bags, served an eviction notice, and sent the paternity results straight to her ultra-religious parents, collapsing her entire safety net overnight. Let's get into it. I, 29, male, own a small townhouse, nothing fancy. But it's mine, paid off early thanks to some inheritance money from my late grandfather and aggressive saving from my job as an HVAC technician. My girlfriend moved in about 2 years ago. We'd been dating for 3 years total, and I genuinely thought we were headed toward marriage. She got pregnant 8 months ago. I was over the moon, started converting the spare room into a nursery, bought a crib, the whole 9 yards. She was acting weird throughout the pregnancy, distant, secretive with her phone, but I chalked it up to hormones. Stupid, I know. The baby was born 3 weeks ago, beautiful boy, but something felt off immediately. The baby had features that just didn't add up. I'm half Irish, pale skin, light eyes. She's got Italian heritage, olive complexion. This baby dark-skinned with features that matched neither of us. I didn't say anything at first, told myself genetics are weird, but the doubt ate at me. So last week, I did a home DNA test, swabbed my cheek, swabbed the baby while she was showering, sent it off with expedited processing. Results came back yesterday, 0% probability of paternity. I sat with that paper for about 4 hours, just sat there, didn't cry, didn't rage, just processed. 3 years, 2 years living together, 8 months of pregnancy where I rubbed her feet, drove her to appointments, held her hair when she had morning sickness. All while she knew this baby wasn't mine. When she came home from her mom's house yesterday evening, I was sitting at the kitchen table with the results in front of me. "What's that?" she asked, putting down her purse. "DNA test, the baby isn't mine." Her face went through about 6 emotions in 3 seconds, shock, fear, anger, then settled on something I didn't expect, defiance. "Okay," she said slowly, "I was going to tell you eventually when his graduation. Don't be dramatic. Look, yes, I made a mistake. It was one time, it didn't mean anything, but you've been here this whole time. You've bonded with him, he knows your voice, a real man would step up and raise him regardless." I actually laughed, not a happy laugh, more like the sound you make when you realize you've been living in a simulation. "A real man," I repeated. "Yes, plenty of men raise children that aren't biologically theirs. It's about love, not DNA. You're really going to abandon an innocent baby over genetics?" I stood up. "I guess I'm not a real man then." "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means I want you out of my house." The defiance cracked. "What? You can't be serious." "I'm very serious. You have 30 days to find somewhere else to live. I'll have the formal notice drawn up tomorrow. You can't just kick me out. I live here, I have a baby." "You have a baby," I agreed. "And you have 30 days, I'd start packing." She started crying then, called me every name in the book, said I was heartless, cruel, that I was punishing an innocent child. I just kept repeating 30 days. Her trump card came out around midnight. "Fine, I'll just go stay with my parents. They'll take care of us. And when they find out what you did, throwing out a new mother and baby, your parents?" I interrupted. "The ones who made you sign that purity pledge at 16. The ones who almost disowned your cousin for having a baby out of wedlock, those parents." She went pale. "See, her parents are extremely religious, old-school Catholic, the kind that still thinks Vatican II was too progressive. They adored me because I was the one who made an honest woman of their daughter. They thought we were waiting until marriage, that the pregnancy was a blessing that just meant we'd have to move up the wedding timeline." "You wouldn't," she whispered. "Wouldn't I?" I pulled out my phone and showed her the email I'd drafted to her father. Attached were the DNA results, a timeline of the pregnancy, and a simple message. "I thought you should know the truth about your daughter and your grandchild before she tries to spin this. I'm sorry it came to this. Please," she begged, "please don't send that. They'll never forgive me. They'll cut me off completely." "That's not really my problem anymore, is it? I have nowhere else to go. My friends all have roommates. I can't afford a place on my own with a newborn. Should have thought about that before you cheated and tried to trap me into raising another man's kid." She didn't sleep that night, neither did I. This morning I sent the email, update 1, 5 days later, man, this blew up. I've got hundreds of messages, most supportive, some calling me a monster. Let me address a few things and then get to the update. Yes, I'm sure about the DNA test. I did a second one through a certified lab just to be absolutely certain. Same result. No, I don't know who the real father is. She refuses to say, honestly, I don't care anymore. Yes, I consulted a lawyer before doing anything. Since we're not married and the house is solely in my name, purchased before we even met, I'm well within my rights to ask her to leave with proper notice. 30 days is actually generous for my state. Now, on to what happened. The email to her father detonated like a bomb. He called her within 20 minutes of me sending it. I know because I heard her phone ring and watched the color drain from her face. I couldn't hear his side, but I could piece it together from hers. Daddy, please let me explain. It's not what you think. I made a mistake. I was going to tell him, Daddy, please, I need to come home. I have nowhere. Daddy, please don't hang up. He hung up. She tried calling back 6 times, then her mother, then her brother. Nobody answered. She turned to me with this look of absolute devastation. They won't talk to me. They said I'm not welcome home until I repent and face consequences. They're not going to help me. Sounds like your safety net had some holes in it. How can you be so cold? I have a 3-week-old baby. You have a 3-week-old baby that you tried to pass off as mine for 8 months, maybe longer if I'd never found out. I was scared. I didn't know what to do. So you decided to make me an unknowing cuckold and hoped I'd be too invested to leave by the time the truth came out. That's not fear. That's strategy. She didn't have a response to that. Over the next few days, I watched her scramble. She called every friend she had. Most of them were so sorry but couldn't help. Tiny apartments, strict leases, roommate situations. Her one friend who might have taken her in got a call from the friend's boyfriend saying absolutely not. They weren't equipped for a newborn. She even tried calling the real father. That call was interesting. I happened to be in the kitchen when she made it. Please, I need help. You need to take responsibility. Pause. I don't care if your wife doesn't know. This is your child too. Pause. You can't just pretend this didn't happen. I'm about to be homeless. Pause. Don't you dare hang up on. She threw her phone across the room, looked at me standing there, coffee in hand. He's married, I asked. Separated, she muttered. Clearly not separated enough to help you out. The entitlement that came next was genuinely impressive. That evening she sat me down for a serious talk. I've been thinking, she said, like she was about to present a business proposal. I know I hurt you. I know I broke your trust, but kicking me out isn't going to fix anything. It's just going to make things worse for everyone, including you. How do you figure? Well, think about it. If I'm homeless with a baby, people are going to ask questions. Your neighbors, your coworkers, our mutual friends. How's it going to look when everyone finds out you threw out a new mother? Are you threatening me with public opinion? I'm just saying. You should think about how this reflects on you. I leaned back. Let me be clear about something. I don't care what anyone thinks. I'm not the one who cheated. I'm not the one who lied for 8 months. And I'm definitely not the one who tried to manipulate someone into raising a baby under false pretenses. If anyone has a problem with me, they can come talk to me directly. You're being so unreasonable. 25 days left. I'd focus on finding a place. She stormed off. That night I heard her on the phone with her mother again. Apparently there had been a family meeting. Her parents, her brother, her grandparents. The consensus was that she had brought shame upon the family and needed to face the earthly consequences of her sins before seeking forgiveness. Cold? Sure. But these were the same people who told her all her life that premarital relations would ruin her. She'd nodded along, taken their money for college, let them believe she was their perfect daughter, all while living a completely different life. The chickens were coming home to roost, and I wasn't about to become their coop. Update 2, 2 weeks later. Things got uglier and then somehow worse. After realizing neither I nor her family were going to rescue her, my ex went into full survival mode. And by survival mode, I mean manipulation overdrive. First came the tears. Every single day, strategic crying whenever I walked through the living room, holding the baby and sobbing about how we were supposed to be a family, leaving tissues everywhere like some kind of sad breadcrumb trail. I stopped reacting, just stepped over the tissues and went about my day. When tears didn't work, she tried guilt from a different angle. She started leaving the baby in my path constantly, put his carrier in front of the TV, left him on the couch when I was trying to watch a game. One morning, I found her attempting to put him in my arms while I was still half asleep. What are you doing? He's hungry and I need to shower, just hold him for 20 minutes. No, it's 20 minutes. You're really going to let a baby cry because of your ego? Call a friend, I'm not doing this. She called me a monster. I went to work. Then came the financial manipulation. She accidentally used my Netflix account to rent a bunch of premium movies. When I noticed and locked her out, she claimed I was being financially abusive. She ran up the electricity bill by leaving every light on 24/7, then complained she couldn't afford to chip in because she was a struggling single mother. I documented everything, every incident, every conversation. My lawyer said it would be helpful if she tried to claim I was harassing her or making the living situation untenable. The really dirty trick came on day 18. I came home from work to find her mother sitting in my living room. Now her mother hadn't spoken to her since the family meeting, hadn't returned calls or texts, but there she was, perched on my couch like she owned the place, holding the baby and giving me a look that could curdle milk. "We need to talk," she said. "Do we? Because I don't recall inviting you into my home. Your girlfriend let me in. She's not my girlfriend. She's a soon-to-be former tenant who's outstaying her welcome." The mother's face tightened. "I came to discuss the situation. There's nothing to discuss. She cheated, she lied, she tried to make me raise another man's child. She's leaving, end of discussion. She made a mistake. One man are about to put a mother and infant on the street. That's not a mistake, that's cruelty." I sat down across from her. "Ma'am, with all due respect, you refused to take her in. You told her to face earthly consequences. Now you're here telling me I should face them instead. Pick a lane." She sputtered. That's different. We were teaching her a lesson. We assumed you'd do the right thing." "The right thing? You mean raise a baby that isn't mine, while my ex benefits from my house, my income, my life? That's not right. That's being a doormat. Think about the child. I have thought about him. He's innocent in all this. But he's also not my responsibility. His mother and his actual father are responsible for him. Take it up with them." Her mother left shortly after, but not before telling me I was not the man she thought I was. I told her the feeling was mutual about her daughter. 2 days later, I got served with papers. She was trying to claim tenancy rights and extend her stay, arguing that evicting her with an infant constituted an undue hardship and that she needed 90 days minimum. My lawyer laughed when I showed him. "This isn't going to work. She's not on the lease, has no rental agreement, and 30 days is standard notice for a month-to-month guest situation, but will respond formally just to cover our bases." The response was filed. The judge, who I never even had to appear before, denied her motion within 4 days. The 30-day notice stood. On day 28, she tried one last play. "What if I told you who the father is?" I was making dinner, didn't even turn around. "What about it? You could go after him for child support, help me get set up. It's only fair. He should be paying, not me suffering alone. That's between you and him. I'm not your private investigator. I'll tell you his name, his job, where he lives. You could make his life hell." I finally turned around. "Why would I waste another second of my life on this situation? You cheated. He cheated on his wife. You both made your choices. I'm choosing to move on, that's it? You don't even want revenge. Lady, you losing your family, your housing, and your backup plan is the revenge. I don't need to do anything else. I just need you gone." Day 30 arrived like Christmas morning. Final update. 1 week later, she's gone. Moving day was exactly as dramatic as you'd expect. Her mother showed up to help. Apparently, the family had begrudgingly agreed to let her stay in her grandmother's basement temporarily, but only because the baby shouldn't suffer for the mother's sins. The father still refuses to speak to her. Her brother blocked her on everything. Loading her stuff into her mom's minivan took about 4 hours. The whole time, her mother shot daggers at me while I sat on my porch drinking coffee. Her final words to me: "You're going to regret this. Someday you're going to want a family and you're going to remember you threw one away." My response: "I didn't throw away a family. I threw out a liar, big difference." Her mother actually gasped. They drove off without another word. The silence in my house that night was incredible. No crying baby, no passive-aggressive sighing, no strategically placed guilt trips, just quiet. I cleaned everything. Stripped the spare room back to bare walls, took down the crib, packed up all the baby stuff, donated it to a local shelter, scrubbed the house top to bottom. It felt like exorcising a ghost. Now, for the aftermath I know everyone's curious about. Her family situation is complicated. She's living in her grandmother's basement with the baby. From what I've gathered through mutual acquaintances, her parents are making her attend weekly confession and family counseling through their church. She's essentially on probation within her own family. They're helping her financially, barely, but the relationship is shattered. The real father, still married, still denying everything publicly. His wife apparently found out anyway through the grapevine and is now divorcing him, so he's got his own mess to deal with. I heard he tried to claim the baby wasn't his either, but she's pursuing a paternity demand. That's not my circus anymore. My ex tried to contact me twice after moving out. First was a text saying she'd had time to reflect and wanted to clear the air. I didn't respond. Second was through a mutual friend who said she was really struggling and asked if I could at least help with some baby supplies. I told the friend that I wished the baby well, but that I wasn't going to be involved in any capacity. The friend understood. Mutual friends have largely split down the middle. Some think I was too harsh. Others think I was completely justified. I've stopped caring about the opinions of people who weren't the ones being lied to for 8 months. Financially, I'm fine. The whole ordeal cost me about $1,500 in legal fees and a few hundred in increased utilities from her spite usage. But that's a cheap price for freedom. I've started dating again, nothing serious, just putting myself back out there. Therapy has been helpful for processing the betrayal and the trust issues that came with it. Do I feel bad for the baby? Yeah, actually. He didn't ask for any of this. He's got a mother who makes terrible decisions, a father who wants nothing to do with him, and a family that's going to treat him as a reminder of shame. That's rough, and it's not his fault. But it's also not my responsibility. I spent 2 years building a life with someone who was lying to me the entire time. I spent 8 months preparing to be a father to a child that wasn't mine. I held that woman's hand through labor. I stayed up late researching car seats and pediatricians and college funds. All of that was stolen from me through deception. The people calling me cold can think what they want. I know the truth. She didn't see me as a partner. She saw me as a safety net, a backup plan. Someone stable enough to clean up her mess when her actual choices fell through. I refuse to be someone's plan B. The house is quiet now. My fridge is full of food I actually like. My streaming queues aren't cluttered with shows I'd never watch. My mornings are mine. My evenings are mine. My weekends are mine. She thought I'd cave. Thought I'd feel guilty or weak or desperate to keep my family together. She thought wrong. I'm not a real man by her definition. I'm something better. I'm a free one. Thanks for following a long Reddit. Time to close this chapter and move on with my life.